a little bit of the Avatar Fire and Ash box office. They opened up with domestically with $90.5 million, sparking to a $350 million opening in the international box office for Avatar Fire and Ash. So James Cameron Avatar Fire and Ash crossed the $100 million mark at the international box office on Friday, reaching $100.4 million through 3 days. It is now on its way to opening a $350 million range worldwide. That's within, but it's on the lower end of the pre-weekend projection. The Navi typically take their time to leg out, and the social sources are strong for both overseas and domestically as the holidays approach. The 20th Century Disney sci-fi threequel is playing around the world, say Hong Kong, where it releases January 8th, and has opened at #1 in nearly all of offshore markets. And as noted yesterday, see below, and posted on the highest opening day across 2025, such as Australia, France, Germany, and Italy. They continued the trend on Friday in Spain and the UK and India. Through Friday, China had grossed $17.2 million for a #1 start, not including the international total above. And in China, it rose to $41 million through today. And in Korea, it rose $4.3 million today, and lifting the local estimated running cum to $9.7 million. And as previously on the Friday, Fire and Ash is off to $43.1 million start across 2 days of the international box office, and that includes 18 markets that open on Wednesday, make another 25 which joined the Navi on Thursday. Sorry, I'm just looking, guys. I was just looking at the other, reading the other things. So $43.1 million total above does not include China, which released today at the limited sneaks on Wednesday in the Cinity format, and the PLFs on Thursday. The Friday estimate in China is coming around $17.1 million, placing it #1. That would represent the third highest opening day for a studio film since Avatar: The Way of Water in 2022, and only behind Zootopia and Fast 10. Early social scores are strong, with Mayan in at 9.4, even with the first Avatar and The Way of Water, it's 9.0, and TPP's 9.5, Avatar is 9.3, and The Way of Water is 9.2. And Wednesday's key openers included France, where Fire and Ash bowled at #1 with 50% market shares and 75% box office coming from 3D and premium formats. In Germany, the threequel claimed 67% market share at #1 on launch day, with 80% of the takings from 3D and premium. And in Italy, the #1 start, a 72% share of market, 44% from 3D and premium. And on Wednesday, Korea launched the #1 as the second biggest studio start of 2025 with 72% of the market. This is really big news, not necessarily just for James Cameron, but for majority of the producers, the people that did the 3D effects and the premium behind Fire and Ash. This is some great news for them, and if any Avatar fans, out there are looking at this, yeah, this is big news and great news for you guys. And I'm very excited that this film is, completely doing what it's doing, because, I already did my review a few days ago, and I had some strong criticisms towards certain elements in the film as far as the characters, performances, a few scenes that they really should have cut, but I felt felt very strongly about the film as far as the quality and the performances from our main leads and the main villainess played as Varang. I thought she was phenomenal. I thought she was really solid. So yeah, I already gave my review on that. But yeah, the box office opening weekend and box office global is doing great numbers so far, doing good numbers so far, and it's only going to continue. We know this film is probably going to make over $2 billion, and I know that because of the visuals and because of the camera work and because of the cinematography behind it. Yeah, so the opening day for it, the opening day delivered $36.5 million, putting the sci-fi epic on the course of domestic debut in the 85 million to $95 million range, and hauled including more than 11 million in previews. And the midweek 20th Century and Disney produced Fox Tempo has already grossed $100 million. Oh hey, what's going on, bass play? My day is going on. My day is going good so far. Why you say that? Stars fire. Why you say that? Uh, but anyways, getting back to the results. Yeah, The Way of Water, of course, if for those of you did not know, it had opened to $134 million in 2022, but there was a tremendous pent up demand for the first, considering the first Avatar debut all the way back in 2009. The Way of Water had 9 days full of play before the Christmas holiday, whereas Fire and Ash had 6 days, with the theory being that some audiences will wait to see the movie until preparations are done and the presents unwrapped. The first Avatar was all but land based when it opened to $77 million in 2009. And the film picked up momentum on its way to becoming the top grossing film of all time at the worldwide box office with a astounding 2.97 billion, not adjusted for inflation. Yeah, this is like I said, this is before. You know what? And as I was saying before, this is definitely a big step in the right direction of where they're gonna go, and it's gonna probably continue on for James Cameron to make more films, to make more Avatar films, because we're not gonna get one probably till at least I'll say probably around 2027, maybe. If not, maybe he'll take a little bit longer than that, maybe 2028. But we're probably gonna get another Avatar 4 in the upcoming years, but it's just gonna take some time because he likes to take his time to prophetically push the whole world of Pandora, push the world of just the Navis, the tribes and the families, and now since you got this new villain and the Fire and Ash tribe that's coming into play, it's gonna be a lot more. It's gonna be a lot more in the running. There's gonna be a lot more in the taking. So he's gonna take his time to really perfect everything to get all the actors and characters to come back. So it's gonna take some years for even to really even get that prophetically profound and get that taken care of and handled. So I like what I'm seeing from its start, and it's got a long ways to go, really, before it gets to its estimate goal, which is going to make over $2 billion. So it's gonna take its while before it gets to that part, and it gets to its end of the day. It's gonna get to its goal, and this is a really good start, and this is a really good feat right now, and there's only gonna be more to come, and there's gonna be more to be handled. So I can't wait to see what's going on next. So tell me what you guys think about this news of the Avatar box office results down there, and just get to my little story that I want to talk about. Well, doing some more Saturday football game. All right, guys. So let's start with the early window slate of the game. So the Philadelphia Eagles clinched the NFC East with a stomping 29-18 win in the second half over the Washington Commanders, as they move to 10-5, and they control their destiny at the number 3 seed right now, as they defeated the Washington Commanders, who they will be playing Week 18, the final week of the season. Jalen Hurts had 185 yards, 2 touchdowns. Didn't really have that big load of a passing game. Saquon Barkley pretty much is the story of that game. He had 21 carries, 132 yards, including that big whopping 44-yard run in the fourth quarter to pretty much seal their hopes of clinching the East and with a victory, and eliminates the Dallas Cowboys from contention, as they tallied a total of 385 yards, 207 rushing yards, and had more and more yards per play, of more efficient on third down, had way less penalties, of course, had more time possession, and they were perfect. They were perfect from the red zone. The difference, pretty much, I'm seeing from what I saw is just the Eagles got back to their winning ways and their winning formula, and they finally just said, we're going to get the ball and run the rock with Saquon Barkley. We're going to get him going. The offensive line is going to open up holes. They got A. Brown going. He had 9 receptions for 95 yards. Jahan Dotson had a decent game. And although, like I said, they're playing to watch the Commanders, you need those kind of wins against the Vegas Raiders and the Commanders to really kind of show who you really are, who you really truly are of value right now. Yeah, you got to move on because they play the Buffalo Bills next week, and that's going to be a tough game on the road in Orchard Park in them cold temperatures down there. But Philly is used to that. The Eagles are used to that. Nick Sirianni, Vic Fangio will have a game plan strategy to prepare for next week. But a good win to clinch the NFC East. If you're the Eagles, that was a great showing in the second half, and remind you that we still are the Super Bowl, the defending Super Bowl champions, and we're not going away anytime soon. Jalen Hurts reminded folks like why people put him in the top level quarterback conversations, and kind of shutting all the doubters and naysayers up about the leadership in his gameplay, as they defeated their arch rivals. And a lot of chippiness, a lot of fighting going on. But at the end of the day, they rounded up. And you got to give a lot of credit to the coaching staff and Kevin Patullo for calling a good game plan in the second half and making the right adjustments. So we'll see what the outcome comes into later on. And the Eagles special teams did not do them any favors, with 3 missed 50-yard field goals, a muff punt return. So yeah, they did not do them any favors. But we'll see if they work on their special teams in the practice next week, which I believe they will, and will take care of those issues. So yeah, those are my thoughts about that one. Salute to the Eagles for getting back on track once again. All right, let's talk about the story of the game. Was the Chicago Bears come back in the fourth quarter, winning in overtime 22-16, and Jordan Love without the game from a hit by number 94, the lineman Booker from the Chicago Bears. And Malik Willis came in and filled in that spot. And he played a solid game, as his style of play is completely different from Jordan Love, where he likes to run to set up his throws, and he pretty much did what he could to still withstand and still withstand in light of the fact of him averaging 33 yards on 7 carries, had 121 yards and only threw the ball 11 times. Emmanuel Wilson, the running game, was the difference and why the Packers was still in it, because he had 14 carries for 82 yards. Romeo Doubs went out the game with a wrist injury. But the main story, as he went out the game with a wrist injury, and also the Packers defense held the Bears scoreless out of the end zone for their entire four quarters until late in the fourth with like less than 10 left to go in that game, and pretty much heralded them to victory until Caleb Williams took over in that fourth quarter and with a touchdown to one of the rookie receivers that they picked up in the fourth round of the draft, and Broker, and also in overtime with a game-winning ceiling 58-yard reception to DJ Moore, which put them over the top 22-16, as they have sole control over the number 2 seed in the NFC North. So they control their division and they control their destiny playoff host, and hosting a home playoff game at Soldier Field, which is highly likely at this point, unless that they find a way to collapse the last 2 games, which I highly doubt that at this point. So now the Bears rack up another win, which is another game-winning comeback in the fourth quarter and overtime, which wakes it up to 6, I believe. And so they are just finding ways to win ball games, no matter what the circumstances and the cost. They had a total of 400 yards total offense, over 250 passing yards, 150 rushing yards, had way more yards per play. And both teams were not as efficient in the red zone. But the difference is Caleb Williams had way more protection, and defensively they had way more tackles, stopping and slowing down the Packers offense. As soon as they drive in their opponents in their field of play, they slow them down, and that turnover late in the red zone really will seal the game and seal their hopes and chances of winning. So as for the Packers, we don't know the status of Jordan Love. I don't know the status of what Jordan Love's injury, concussion protocol. He has to go through some concussion protocols. And as they move on next week, they got to go play the Baltimore Ravens, and then the Chicago Bears. They move on, and I believe they have to play the. I'll look at their schedule next week, and I think the last game of the season they play the Lions. So we'll see how that is. We'll see how they're going to continue to do it. But what a rallying effort, and rallying effort to come back, being down by 2 scores and win the game in overtime, and also recovering the onside kick in the fourth quarter to get them in possession to get a late score and tie the game at 16 to get it into overtime, which is a really good play call by the special teams coordinator. DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai was just absolutely balling. They did their thing. And, what a really solid win. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do next. So tell me what you guys think about them Saturday games from the Eagles and Commanders, and now the Bears rallying effort and comeback win over the Green Bay Packers. And tell me what you guys think about that down in the comment section below. Yeah, I'll be heading out of here. I will come back later on today, or if not tomorrow, to not only come back tonight to probably cover the Patriots and Ravens Sunday night football game, and then I definitely will be doing a recap of those games and the NBA coverage as well, and find a way to cover the WNBA and Unrivaled. And then also we'll get ready to go for the Christmas holidays. And then after that, the top 10 movies of the year will be coming soon, as well as my top 25 albums of the year. So be on the lookout for that. And those will be my last videos of the year. So be on the lookout for that. Will be coming either later on New Year's, or if not, into the new year. So we'll be doing that pretty soon. So be on the lookout for that. All right, guys, I am out. Peace. Thank you all for watching.